Welcome to episode number 40 of 5-Minute-ish FriYAY. I am Casey.
And I'm Kara.
And we are working remotely. So with this on our minds, right? Everybody's pretty much quarantined or self-quarantining and social distancing, and we are practicing that as well in our business. So we wanted to go live today and talk to our business friends and give them our tips as a remote team for how to be mega productive while working from home, because there can be so many distractions and interruptions that we're not used to if you're used to working in an office. So I freelanced for over a handful of years and got it pretty nailed down. Kara McCann, who's our copywriter, is 100% remote. And then you, Kara Alexander, about 30-40% for the most part.
Yeah, it depends on the week. But yeah, sometimes I work from home, work remotely, or at a coffee shop, but most of the time from home if I'm not in the office.
Yeah, so we've learned some things along the way. We've learned a few tips and tricks.
Oh, yeah. Lots of trial and error.
Some really things, what works for us individually. So hopefully something here that we're going to share will resonate with at least one of you. And we're going to all kind of share our own tips. Kara McCann can't join us since she is halfway across the world. So she's in a time zone that's about 14 hours ahead of us. So she's sleeping right now. So I'm going to share her tips first. And I'm going to show you a little graphic here while we're talking. So Kara McCann is 100% remote. She is a military spouse. All three of us are. And she has a toddler and a couple of cats. So I just wanted to share those little tidbits about the three of us so that you all understand the different perspectives and maybe some challenges unique challenges that we all have that go into helping us determine really what works for us and what doesn't. So when Kara McCann submitted her tips and advice, her number one was to have a designated work area. So for her, she said she needs to set up a specific home office, whether it's a different room in the house or it's just a certain spot at a certain table that she works at every day. She said that it really helps because it puts her brain in work mode. And if she switches that up and goes and sits on the couch or any kind of common place that's intended and mostly used for relaxing, it can be very easy to get sidetracked because you're doing or seeing other things in those places. So she said her number one tip is to create a space that's only for work, and that really helps keep her focused. Her second tip was to be flexible when needed. So she said, not every day goes according to plan because you're at home and there are inherent distractions. And she said, especially as a mom, even though her quote minion is in daycare during the day, there are sick days, there are parent-teacher meetings, and sometimes the daycare calls and says Maisie needs a change of clothes, or they have to close early for something. So it can be really hard and challenging in those ways, but she has to be willing to flex her work around that. So, and she said, even for non-parents, people may come knock at the door, or your pet might throw up on the rug in the other room. Kara, is that all too real? So her tip was to just deal with it and then refocus afterwards. Don't let it throw off your whole day. And then her third tip was to stay off social media. So she said, try not to keep a separate tab open thinking you won't check it, because you will. If you have a phone that lets you set time limits on certain apps, use that, or use one of the timer apps to disable social media during your working hours. So just have really strict boundaries with that. And speaking of strict boundaries, her fourth tip was to time block. So she said that time blocking for her, she said, are you the type to let 10 minutes break, a 10-minute break turn into 30 minutes? She said, time yourself. Set timers for your work times too. So set a timer for when you're going to work, and then it goes off, and set a timer for 5 to 10 minutes so you can take a break. Respect the timer. Don't use the snooze. When your timer break goes off, pretend that your boss just walked into the room. Heck, even yell at yourself to get back to work, whatever you need to do. Is that what you do? Do you yell at yourself, or do you pretend that I just walked in the room?
I don't. I'm pretty good about if I set boundaries for myself doing it, but I also believe in if I personally am taking a really long time to do a task and I'm just not focusing, I truly personally believe in taking that time away and just doing whatever I need to for 30, 40 minutes to get clear my mind and then go back to the task. If you're wasting time doing that, you might as well separate and go do what you need to do to relax and then go by your way.
Nice. So Kara Alexander, share your tips for productivity while working remotely.
Yeah. So my number one thing that I think really sets the tone is a morning routine. So a morning routine is very personal. Some people prefer to wake up and eat breakfast, have that cup of coffee, and that's the beginning of their day. A second one is to get that physical activity, get that workout in, and then begin your day. And the third one is some people just like to get up, get dressed, take a shower, put makeup on, and then head downstairs. Whichever way that works for you personally, take this time during this quarantine time, if you don't know, to figure that out. And make sure that you wake up at the same time every single day. If you think that you need the extra sleep and you work late at night, make sure you're up by 9. If you like an early start to your day like me, I try and be up by 5 every morning. So for me personally, waking up, getting downstairs, picking up the house a little bit, doing the dishes, and then doing my workout, and then getting ready for the day, that's how I like to begin my day. That's that morning routine.
Nice.
The second thing is staying organized. If my house is a mess, my life is a mess. I don't know if this is personality or something I learned from my mother, but if my house is cleaned, I have a clear mind, I'm more driven, I'm more organized in work. I also just feel way more productive. So pick up your house if you need to in the morning or at night. My personal things in the morning, my husband likes to pick up at night. So pick up your house, clean if you can. I know we all have that one area in the house that just picks up, magnifies clutter. Mine is my kitchen table, and I usually work from there or from my couch. So if all of that's a mess, it's going to affect into my work for sure. Do you feel the same way, Casey?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been apologizing to Chance profusely all this week because I'm like, man, my work has exploded and it's across several rooms.
Yeah, it just having a clean house really helps keep my mind clean in the area, so it's really helpful. The next thing is try and keep regular business hours. Don't sprawl every single day at a different time. Again, try and keep a routine of your times. But, things happen when you work from home. Some days you might really get on a spree and work until 11 or 12 at night, especially if you're creative like us. So, but try if you can. I try and start work around 9 or 10. I try and end by like 4 to 6, somewhere in between there. And I try to focus on family. I focus on dinner. I focus on my husband and my animals. And then we kind of calm down for the night. That's usually what I try to do. Doesn't always happen, but I try to, because if I don't, I might not get as much work done the next day if I'm up until 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it'll just throw you off. And then this is a vicious cycle.
Oh, yeah. It could be like 2 days in a row that I'm not productive because that one day I spent extra time. But you're thinking, oh, I'm ahead of the game. But then really it catches up with you and you're not. So
yep,
it's a big one for me. And the last one for me is take breaks. I cannot stress this enough, especially with everyone working from home right now. Everyone's using a computer or a mobile device. Your eyes get stressed very bad. So blue light glasses I highly suggest, but take breaks. It's not only important for your mental state, for your physical state. It's just important in general. It'll help you be more productive, help you keep on task. It's good for you to physically get up and stretch and go for a walk or walk around your house, do a task. If you have dishes, do them. If you have laundry, do them. If you have kids, take that time to eat lunch, do a picnic. If you have animals, I have a dog, so I take her for a walk. Take that time to really get up, get stretched. It's so important to take a full lunch hour. Take that time to really separate. Continue to do that. At work, usually you have a lunch break. Continue to take that time, listen to a podcast, read a book, go for a walk, watch a sitcom. Do not watch a dramatic TV show. Watch a sitcom. For me, some days I like to watch a TV show that I've mindlessly watched in the past, but a sitcom is really easy to walk away from, especially one that you've seen multiple times because you know what happens. So make sure you set those boundaries like Kara McCann had mentioned, because it'll definitely be important on keeping you productive. But take breaks. It's so important for you and your health.
Yeah, agreed. So my 2 tips are from a totally different perspective. Mine are from the point of managing a remote team. So I feel like a lot of our business friends probably have worked remotely themselves, but maybe they haven't managed a team before on this kind of level on a pretty regular remote basis. And I've had some ups and downs with that for sure. So just finding a way to have regular virtual team meetings has been really key for our team. I think doing that and having like every Monday night, the first Monday night of the month, that's our team meeting time. And we use technology, we use Zoom, where we can all jump on live video chats and we can chat with each other, catch up on all the things that are happening. We even do goal setting together. So that's one of my favorite parts about it is we not only just talk about what new projects might be coming in or what we're wrapping up or, what we might be doing on an individual basis within the role of the business, but we're also talking about our individual goals as employees, contractors, the boss, whatever it might be. And I really, really like just getting the feedback and having just kind of an open flow conversation with everyone. And then to kind of piggyback off of that is not just to have that one regular team meeting, especially if you're only doing it once a month. So we used to do team meetings a year ago at this point. We were doing team meetings every Monday. And as our client load has exploded in all the right ways, that just hasn't been feasible for us. So we need ways to keep the conversation going so that we can have those regular check-ins, have the accountability, get questions answered quickly, and it's just a part of like trial and error, figuring out what works best for you. So I know I first directed you two to like shoot me an email with whatever questions. My email inbox is usually a mess. It's very full.
It's not a mess. It's just you're getting one thing on top of the other, so it's hard to be able to see someone's question that you need easily. I don't know. For me, email is not my first choice. If you want to get in contact with me fast, if you want to get in contact with me fast, it's text.
Yeah. And then even in our project management software, we use Asana. Just keeping up with all the little conversations in there got to be a bit much. So what's really worked for us now, and I feel like we're in a really, really awesome routine with it, is using a conversation app called Voxer. So a lot of people use Slack, a lot of people will use Voxer. It just depends on if you want to have like little text conversations or if you want to be able to like talk and speak back and forth at each other. So Voxer is like a walkie-talkie style conversation where you're not all on the same live stream together, but you can hear each other live and you can respond pretty quickly. So that's how we have really found a groove with everything, because we can all leave each other messages. It doesn't matter if it's in the middle of the night. The next morning we get up, we have a notification, you listen to it, and you respond.
I listen to them every day. I get ready. If Kara McCann's been leaving them, she's up 14 hours difference, so I listen in the morning. The biggest time is, when we have ideas or goals or something great has happened. You know, usually I talk when I'm driving and heading home or on my way to the gym. It's a great app.
Yeah. So it's really all of this is just really, I think a lot of people are having to make adjustments and maybe aren't quite as accustomed to this work routine. So that's why I wanted all of our team members to chime in and share their best tips for productivity while working remotely, because we've been doing it all collectively for a long time. And so I feel like we've learned a lot of lessons along the way, and hopefully what we've shared here is helpful. If you have questions or have a particular need, I mean, even if it's not something that we know about, like, we're resourceful as heck. So we'll figure it out, and we'll be happy to answer any questions anyone might have.
If you are a parent and you have questions about maybe how Karen McCann handles daily life like that, or you know, half the time my husband, he is on a midnight schedule or a night schedule where, you know, he's sleeping during the day and I'm having to be downstairs working. Or, you know, if you have any questions about that, if you can relate having someone else home while you're working, which is a challenge, just let us know. We've been there. We're all military spouses, so being flexible, but also, you know, still putting ourselves and our stuff and being productive and putting it first, you know.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. This was a long one, but a good one. So I hope it's helpful. I hope that everyone will come back and tune in to next week's episode. We'll probably be doing it the same way. So we're going to take advantage of the technology that we have and still keep coming to you live anyway. And also watch our social media posts for this next week, because we have some great information about what local businesses are doing and how they're helping each other out and how you can help them. So watch for that, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.